wonderful.
Carl was excited today because he found out that Stuttering John was on with Elisa Jordana, and he was on for a long time. I couldn't even get to the end, Carl. I was laughing and making notes and just entirely amused. How long was he on altogether?
He must have been on for an hour, 20 minutes. I was not expecting that because he said 40 minutes in, hey, I got other stuff to do. I can't be here all day. And
well, he was drafting, too. He was doing his fantasy draft while he was on with Elisa.
Can we start with that, Drew? Because I picked up on that, too. She picks up on him, and the first thing out of his mouth is, I'm just, hold on, I'm sorry, I got to pick a kicker. So what I put together is a montage of every time he's trying to have a conversation and also draft fantasy players at the same time. This would be number 6.
Excellent.
Speaking of good things for the world, we have Stuttering John. Welcome to the show. You showed up. Wow.
How are you, Lisa? I'm still in the middle of the draft, but you know what?
Well, I'm sorry for everything that's been going on. So, John, how is your life now? How is your life currently? Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time. Hold on just 1 second. I'm just going to draft one quick pick here. All right. See, did you hear that sound?
Was that the draft?
Yeah, that's the draft. So let me just pick. I'm just going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers defense here. So hold on.
Okay, pick that draft pick, and now we have Arf Bark, who's the host of the wrap-up show.
For the most part, I'm at like I'm headlining the Laugh Factory in
You're on the board.
In Reno. Sorry, I just made a pick. Sorry. I just so I'm hosting there. I mean, Scott, the engineer, has to do a $50,000 GoFundMe to pay for the medication to help his wife. And Howard Stern does not donate a dime. Hold on, I'm just let me draft for 2 seconds.
Okay. Take your time.
I only have one more pick and I'm done. So let me see.
And you already took a defense?
Left here.
Took the Steelers.
Took him way too early.
I'll take another quarterback. Screw it. Okay.
You had a better quarterback if you didn't take a defense.
Okay, I'm done. There we go. How do you like that, Elisa? All done.
It's one thing that he doesn't have it set up to auto draft, like go through it. But it's another that he's got the audio on to interrupt him.
Right.
What a dick.
I'm glad you guys picked up on the nuance of how poorly he's drafting, too. I was thinking the same thing. He's like, I got 4 more picks. I'm going to grab a defense and then a kicker. Like, no, that's not how you do it. And I love that he picked Pittsburgh because they are going to be in Buffalo next weekend. This weekend coming up. And every time the Bills score, it's less points for Stuttering John's fantasy team.
It's more for me because I have Allen and Diggs.
Nice picks. Oh, well, Brandon, I know you're a fantasy guy. You've talked about it once or twice.
Or every day.
I love that John explains to Elisa how fantasy works. You can tell that John really understands at track 1.
Okay, so the draft, you're not playing any sport. You're just like sitting.
Yeah, but you got to pick the right players because after it's done, that's your team. And then as soon as the season starts, then you start, then you'll start people and then you won't. It's fun. My freaking brother got me into it, but I've been doing it for 7 years now.
Did you pick up on that, Brandon? You start people and then you don't. That's what you start people.
It's fun.
I have to say, I want to say this on behalf of Elisa. I thought she did a good job of asking the right questions without sounding like she was really going after John or trying to troll him or anything like that. She just kind of came out with it. And even though there was a lot of garbage in between, she generally got what I wanted to get out of it.
Yes, Elisa did a masterful job. I got to reach out to her. I don't know if you guys want to try to give her a call because she was amazing with this interview trolling John, but to a level that John wasn't quite sure if he was getting trolled or not, so he stayed on. I'll give you an example of this.
Exactly. You nailed it.
She's asking him if he ever gets embarrassed by things that he does. And so she throws out the example of this lawsuit with Sirius, track 5.
Okay, so there was an article that
I had my head shaved on the Tonight Show. Nothing embarrasses me.
No, but that's different than it says former Howard Stern castmate Stuttering John lost his lawsuit against SiriusXM and claimed the broadcaster was exploiting his celebrity to gain listeners and attract more advertising. Does that get embarrassing?
Why? Why? I'm appealing right now.
So do you think you're going to win that lawsuit?
Oh my God.
How do you feel about that? Is that embarrassing?
Yeah.
Because you should be embarrassed. You're embarrassed about that, right? No? You should be.
I love the way he explained that everyone is behind him, and the long list of everyone turned out to be a very short list. It was like Steve Grillo and Scott DePace,
yeah.
And then there didn't seem to be anyone that else was on the list.
I know. I love how he pretends that he's the hero, and he's standing up. At one point, he even says that he's standing up to tyranny, talking about this lawsuit.
Tyranny.
Yes,
And
I
by the
thought
way,
that was maybe a little bit over the top.
What was the point of saying that? By the way, I'm not suing Howard personally, as if he's sparing Howard some, finance destroying, lawsuit. But then he goes on to point out that Howard derailed the engineer's GoFundMe for his dying wife, and that he only wrote a 2-sentence email when she died, which is like, how long an email? When somebody dies, do you want to write a long? I mean, are we keeping track? I mean, does Howard get credit for writing an email and saying, "I'm sorry about your wife, and we've donated money to this cancer foundation"? Is that terrible?
Oh yeah, no. John goes on to say, I don't talk trash about Stern. Well, except for I do, because this guy, when Scott the engineer needed him, he just gave him an email. So he's bitching about it nonstop about Howard Stern, at the same time saying that he's not bitter. Right. And I thought this was a funny back and forth when so Gonzo calls in, and Gonzo's a character from the Howard Stern show.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
Okay. Gonzo, who's also a big fan of WATP, we communicate quite a bit. So he called in.
Gonzo, is he also an ex of Elisa?
He might be.
Okay, because did you catch the really awkward thing where John thought the funniest thing that's ever happened in the history of the world is Elisa and Andy Dick being engaged?
Yeah, and then he had to list off every ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, no, it was I thought it was a real asshole move because
he was trying to shame her or something.
She had not even begun to troll him at that point. And he's like, was that before Vin Diesel? Was that after David Blaine? Was that before Ethan Hawke? Was that before Eric or after Eric? Was that before Gonzo or Benji? And it was just rude.
And it wasn't funny. Like, it didn't come across as something that would have been funny.
No, not remotely.
Right.
Which reminds me, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. And if I am, just let me know. Did John attempt to make a joke that he actually uses in his stand-up about when he was talking about Reno and how he always knows there's going to be a great crowd because he's the headliner? And then the Uber driver had a pickup truck. Was that a joke?
Oh, I wanted to know the answer to that, too. He goes, and you won't believe this has never happened to me before. I got an Uber, and it was a pickup truck. And Elisa goes, oh, all right. So
but he was laughing.
Anyway,
he laughed.
Like, what do you do with that?
But Carl, he laughed really hard after that, like it was a punchline. Like, of course, you understand how funny that is because he even laughed at it, and he's probably told the joke, well, at least numerous times. Yeah. But she was completely befuddled by what that meant, and I really think he thought that was a joke. I think he thinks that's a funny joke.
I get the joke. It's just not funny.
Wait, what do you get? I don't even get it.
I assume he has to sit in the back of the pickup truck. Because most pickup trucks don't have that extended. I'm assuming that's
most pickup trucks have a passenger seat, though.
I know, but no. Who sits? What kind of weirdo sits in the pad in the shotgun of a?
But then there's the little thing, and I mean, there's at least.
No, I told you. I think that's what he means. I don't know, but the joke's already ruined when you have to think about it that hard.
I know, but I truly, Carl, I truly believe that was an effort at a joke.
Yeah,
that he thought he was really making a funny in the middle of this interview.
It's interesting because he didn't attempt any other jokes the entire time.
Thank God.
In fact, he was just angry and bitter this whole interview, which is hilarious. So you might be right. I didn't even pick up on that. I just thought it was a boring story.
Let me just mention that Carl is brought to you courtesy of our friends at Hall Financial. Go to DrewandMikeHF.com to get started with Hall Financial. That's DrewandMikeHF.com, as it could save you thousands of dollars on a refi, or you could pay your credit cards off and pay the same rate you're paying every month with Hall Financial. NMLS number 1467435 for Hall Financial. And they bring you Carl.
Thanks, Hall Financial.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I could do these drops.
So where's Gonzo at?
Gonzo calls in with what I think is the question that's on everybody's mind, track 7.
Hey, I was just calling because John sounds like he says he's not bitter, but as soon as he says he's not bitter, he goes on for 10 minutes.
No.
That's Gonzo, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, Gonzo, hold on a second. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. But if you don't take care of a guy whose wife is dying,
Wait, I can't hear Gonzo. I can't hear what Gonzo's saying, John. What Gonzo?
Let it rip.
No.
So the best part is Elisa, again, this is masterful on her part. Elisa says, hold on, let him finish the question. You know, the question is just like, why do you sound bitter?
There's more insult coming in the question.
Right. So listen, this is the very next part, track 8, and listen to what Elisa says.
No, I'm just saying, like, John says he's not bitter, but then he goes on and, continues to be bitter for Tim. So I just wonder if John has, like, any self-awareness that he is bitter. And I don't know, because he gets very bitter about things.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Gonzo.
Okay, thank you,
Great
Gonzo.
call.
Okay, Elisa, now.
I'm wondering if he has any self-awareness that he is bitter. She goes, great call.
Awesome.
Hilarious.
No.
I love it.
Oh, what a turd.
Wow. I have another fun clip on here. And this is, so the question is, what's next for you, John? What do you have coming up on the horizon? Now, this is something that we would all be able to answer to some degree, right? It's almost like a job interview question. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself? John decides, instead of answering the question, to tell you everything he's done in life.
Well, that's not what's next.
He does this a lot.
That's what's happened.
He does this a lot. Now, I sped it up, but I want you to hear how many details he puts into this in track 19.
Oh, God.
And,
Okay. No, I understand. Just lastly, what are your hopes, for what's coming next for you? You hope you win your lawsuit. What else?
My life, Dee Snider said it best to me on the Howard Stern show.
Nice name drop.
John, you lived a charmed life. And I have to say I'm grateful that I have lived a charmed life. I have achieved everything that I've set out to do. I wanted to get a record deal. I did. I got to tour the country opening up for bands like Ozzy Osbourne, Collective Soul, and White Zombie, and Motley Crue. I got to write a song with one of my idols, Joe Walsh, and got to hang out with him in his house and record with him in the studio. I have gotten to write and sell and star and sell a movie to National Lampoon. I got to work on 2 of the most iconic radio and TV shows and be a writer on each show. I got to be the announcer of the biggest late night show in television history, where I had a Stutterer, which was an inspiration to Stutterers all across this nation and the world. I got to have a book deal. I got to work for some of the greatest people. I've had the opportunity to be a father of 3 great children. So I've lived a very good life. I made a decent amount of money, put college funds all the way for all my kids. They'll never have to pay for one day of college in their life. And I live very comfortably, own a condo, own a Harley, own a Mercedes. I'm living a good life. Wow. So I don't regret a thing. And to answer your question,
what's next?
I don't know what's going to come next.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Wow. I wonder, do all those people the stutterers of America that he was such an inspiration to, I hope they don't see how far he's fallen. Because you hate to see your heroes collapse, right? Wait, he's not an inspiration. Was he an inspiration to stutterers around America?
No.
Of course not.
In fact, Mark, there was a time when there was a stutterer on America's Got Talent, a stuttering comedian.
Okay.
And Howard Stern was the judge on the show back then. And he was like, you are an inspiration. And Stuttering John got so upset. He's like, what about me? I was the announcer on the Tonight Show. Who cares about this guy? I'm like, yeah, but John, he's judging a show. He's trying to make it interesting.
Yeah,
right?
Dick.
Okay.
It's not always about you. Yeah. Everything is not a oh, God.
He talked about that multiple episodes. He was so pissed off about it.
It's so funny how much information dumping he does, but it's always in his own favor, or he thinks it is. Like, there's a point where Lisa asks him, are you and Scott the engineer still friends? And he says, yes, we had dinner in Florida, and yes, I paid for the whole meal for both of us.
Yeah, that wasn't the question.
No, but he was still answering the question about whether he's a cheap fuck that came like an hour earlier.
Oh, what a turd.
And then I think, Drew, something I think that you picked up on, because we were messaging a little bit today while we were listening to this, so funny, that Elisa wants to know if he can make a living from podcasting. And John talks about what he does. He does a political show 3 days a week, and he does this beer on the balcony show. And he goes, the beer on the balcony show is I have a celebrity on there or a comedian, and, I'll just drink some beers and we do the show. So this is the question, track 3.
So how much money can you make drinking beer on your balcony?
Well, the beer on the balcony is just, that's just here. This is my balcony. You want to see my balcony?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I could change it here. Damn it. I don't know if I could change it on your show here.
Change it.
Damn it.
The
Oh,
video.
somebody's calling me. 1 second, John.
The
Permanent
background.
friend.
Yeah. So he changes the subject because he's got a green screen behind him. So he's like, "Oh, I'll show you what Beer on the Balcony looks like." It's just a different image behind him.
Oh, what a dick.
Thankfully, Elisa doesn't give up.
Oh, what a
Right.
dick.
Thankfully, because yes, he changed the subject, doesn't want to talk about it. Elisa gets distracted by a call and then gets right back to it. Track 4.
Okay. Okay. So you're doing a lot of shows. So yearly, what kind of salary is that?
I'd rather not say, but it's pretty well.
Is it like?
I do fairly well.
Is it like 50,000, 100,000,
I do fairly well.
200,000? Are you on Cameo?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what's better for you? Is it YouTube?
Can we all say a prayer for a comedian, a friend of mine?
A prayer?
That was a good job by her, man.
Yeah,
really
I know.
was really
It's some
good.
ranges out there.
I was impressed.
Am I in the ballpark?
Well, and then to go, so you do cameos. So which one do you make more money on? Because that'll get, you can ballpark. You can see how many cameos a person does.
But then how can you possibly stick to it when he brings up the condition of Kate Quigley?
Yes,
The stand-up
that's what he
comedian
decided to
that
do
we're
at
all-
that moment.
Yeah.
We're all
He's like,
thinking about
"Hey,
her.
I know you want to ask me questions, but can I just derail your show for a second with Kate Quigley talk?"
That's kind of a come down. And by the way, Carl, did you know who Kate Quigley was?
I did not, but I do today. Holy cow, she's a pretty hot chick.
Yeah.
She is. Do you know who Furquan Johnson is, the guy that OD'd and died?
I did not know who that was. Now,
God, that seemed like a really sort of
Not
out of
on
the
my
mainstream
radar.
party to me. And I don't know anyone that knows either one of these comedians. Although Kate Quigley, yeah, she's very attractive, and we had the clips from the Laugh Factory, which I decided was from the Easy Laugh Factory because I didn't think she
Yeah.
was that funny.
well, I was actually checking out both of them today out of curiosity, and it looks like they've played a lot of shows with stand-ups that we all know.
Okay.
So if you're in the LA scene, you'd probably know about them because they're on these showcase shows.
Well,
but
they just don't
no
tour.
national that I can
Yeah.
see.
Andy Dick didn't seem to know either one of them. And his son didn't seem to know them
Shocking.
either. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to put them down.
What's bizarre here, and Stuttering John's been doing this a little bit lately, is he starts to be tough guy. He goes back and forth. I don't know if you picked this up on being the victim. People are trying to give me death threats. Oh, I got a funny death threat in the mail today. I don't know, not to derail this conversation.
In
Do you
the
guys see
mail?
my Twitter that I
Oh,
posted?
yeah. I got the same one. I could tell you who that's from.
Oh, you got the same.
Yeah.
You guys got the
Same
same
death
death
threat?
threat?
Yeah, yeah. I remember the one that I got that was cut out with the pieces about farting and stuff like
yeah.
that. It seems like somebody sent one to Carl, but out of context, I could see how that'd be a pretty, at least mine mentioned farts. I knew it was joking along. Yours mentioned some crazy shit.
Carl's a little more
Right.
frightening.
I thought it was hilarious, and it did come from Michigan, so I was wondering that the whole return address is on the envelope. A good way to send a death threat. All right. So anyway, John likes to go back and forth, and track 10, he explains where he is if you ever want to see him in real life.
So this Scion dude comes on under a different name because they're all cowards. He doesn't even come on with his real name because they're all cowards. My name is Stuttering John Melendez. I live in Canoga Park. I go to Pickwick Pub every day around 3 or 4 in Woodland Hills. Feel free to come by if you have a beef with me.
What a
I
drunk.
know how to take care of myself.
What a total drunk.
Right. He's there every day at 3.
Really?
And then after that, he has the balls to say that people are threatening him on social media, track 16.
People on these social media sites threaten to come to the places I hang out and hurt me.
You
Just
asked
ask
for it.
You've been asking for it. What do you expect?
Asshole.
And then he tells a story, and I'm calling bullshit on this story because, and this is where Elisa probably should have followed up with some follow-up questions. Track 18.
I've had a guy at my pub threaten to kill me.
My pub.
A big dude came and whispered in my ear, "I'm going to kill you." So to think that it couldn't happen, it could. People are killed all the time.
It didn't.
You know what I mean? So I'm not comparing myself to John Lennon.
No one thought you were.
Oh, man.
What a turn. Does that happen all the time? People get killed at a pub.
Can you imagine?
Does that happen a lot where people just walk?
John Melendez, better known as Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show, was assassinated today at the Pickwick Pub.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine that on network?
Howard Cosell
Assassinated.
breaking into Monday Night Football.
Dead on arrival.
I was
Stuttering
trying to
John.
impress a lesbian and decided to murder Stuttering John.
I miss penis.
Oh, man.
So what John was explaining was, he goes, there's a lot of crazies out there. And this one woman, Heather W., who I had on my show, he talks about her for a while because this guy, Unique, a.k.a. Scion Z, a.k.a. Kyle, is trolling John this entire episode, which is hilarious. Actually, let's play a real quick clip of that. Elisa brings this guy in, and at first John's like, hey, I know this guy. And then it immediately is like, oh, no, this guy's just here to troll me, track 9.
All right, I got my ear to the streets, John. What is this threatening people behind the scenes, the docs people, everything I hear on Who Are These Podcasts? What's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You are aware
I
that
have
the show
people-
called Who Are These Podcasts, and Kumia and Shuli go on there and trash you, right?
Who cares? They don't boo nobodies, Scion. Let them trash me all they want. I don't care. I do my own show. It doesn't bother me.
He's threatened to sue me. What does he mean it doesn't bother him? It's not even close to not bothering him. It's the opposite of that.
Wait, have you been served yet?
Not yet. Still waiting.
Didn't he say he paid the retainer or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I'm still waiting for it.
Just seems like a very poor investment at this point.
Get a refund.
Yeah, no kidding. So then John decides that he's going to go after Scion Z, and his biggest problem, you remember this, Drew, if you listen to this, he's going, people are just making shit up about me, and they're putting it out there. Scion Z is a liar, and he's telling people all this stuff. So then John does the exact same thing back to him, and props here to Elisa for picking up on this, track 11.
So I'm just saying, the people that like to throw stones, they live in glass houses. This freaking guy, who I know what his criminal record is. So, Kyle,
Damn
you want me
right.
to get into that part of it? Because I can certainly get into your criminal history.
Why
if
do
you'd
you
like me
know
to.
his criminal history? That is
Because-
weird, John. That is very weird. You should not know anything about that guy.
That is bizarre.
And then John goes on to explain that people in his chat room tell him this stuff. So he doesn't know.
Oh, that's a good
This is
source.
just hearsay.
It's a threat. Empty
Which is
threat.
the same way that anyone knows information about him that he likes to dispute is that people just put it on the internet.
But it doesn't bother him. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me
Not
at
only does
all.
it not bother him, he realizes that the fact that people are fucking with him nonstop every day, all day long, proves he's doing something right. Track 12.
Then, for a week on these shows that Scion had mentioned, they start writing, I can't afford my gas bill.
I
Then
mean,
they
was it
start
wintertime?
writing,
Gas
I
bills
just
are
bought a new
expensive.
car. I just bought a new car. Then they write, oh, he bought a used Kia. Like they make up this stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? They do it, which means I must be doing something right. If they have this much time and energy to waste into hating on me,
No, it's just too easy. It's just too easy.
I mean, would you love to know what kind of car he really did get, though? I mean, I would love to report it accurately.
I actually do know the answer to that because one of the listeners to our show lives near John and takes photos of the parking lot in the apartment complex where he lives.
Is it close to a used
Okay,
Kia?
wait. Did he get a hybrid?
It's a used Mercedes.
Oh.
How old?
I believe it's 6 or 7 years old.
Can we find out? Can you ask the neighbor to find out the miles on it? If you can just peek in and get a good look at that. I would love to know that. I don't know why.
I will KBB that for us for the next episode.
I mean, isn't that kind of cheesebally to buy a used Mercedes, a used Jaguar, a used Lambo?
That's what you like,
because
but yeah.
you really just want to be driving a Lambo, but you don't want to pay for
It's peacocking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, where he lives, well, not where he lives in the Valley, but in LA more in general, this is not an impressive feat to own a Mercedes.
Oh, that's a great point.
especially a
You them out
used
there.
Mercedes.
There's probably tons of them.
I mean, I wonder if there's any. Is there any Bondo on it or any dents or
There will be.
something tells me this car's not really that new a Mercedes.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's that impressive because if you remember, well, if anyone's following WATP, he's been talking about getting a new car. He was going to get a Tesla, and he was talking about all these amazing sports cars he was going to get. And then he finally gets a new car months later, and people ask him what he got, and he has not answered that question.
No.
So he's not real proud of his purchase, I have a feeling.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't just say I got a Mercedes.
Yeah,
without saying it's used.
Because I think there'd be a follow-up question to that he doesn't want to answer. I think it's the reason why he hasn't said that.
But I got a good deal on it. That's all
So it's only got 190,000 miles on it. Those things can drive forever.
German engineering.
So, Drew, you didn't get to the end of this interview.
I
but
didn't.
It's fascinating because John starts to lecture Elisa on how to run her show.
Oh,
This is
come
track
on.
20.
Oh, that's great.
Lisa, I thought this was a religious show. You know what?
What?
You allow the most hateful people on your show to spew horseshit like Scion Z. And if you really knew Scion Z's criminal past,
This again.
you might question whether you should have him on your show ever again. I'm just saying, Elisa, you're supposed to be a Christian. You're supposed to be all about love. You're supposed to be all about acceptance. Well, you have a guy like that on spewing lies and horseshit and anger about somebody who's your guest. Really?
Oh, what a jerk.
So I guess he didn't realize what he was getting himself into on this
Wait,
show.
Carl, did he confuse the Church of Kermit for her being extremely religious?
He
Because
brings
I
it up
think-
multiple times. He's like, this is a religious show. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, I mean, is she super religious?
Not that I know of. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But you know, it is. They jokingly refer to it as the Church of Kermit. So apparently, he takes
Yeah.
that literally.
Oh boy.
She's not waiting for marriage if you're asking that question. That I know for sure. So this goes back and forth a little bit as he's telling her how to run her show. And 21, I did like her response to this.
But I'm just saying, you might want to change your MO on your show if you want to get guests. Because if your MO is to have people come on and spread horseshit like Kyle does, then who's going to want to do your show in the first place? Just giving you a little tip.
So I have all people on my show.
Okay. So far, you've had
I love
people
everyone.
call me- So far, you've had people call me a stuttering fuckface. You've had people.
You
lie
had
about my
Charmin.
girlfriend.
You had Charmin, who's wonderful, and James,
Yes, I know.
who's wonderful.
I'm just telling you. You keep
Jesus loves all people.
You keep allowing Scion back on. To
He's
spew
interested.
hate.
That really bothers him. That
Yeah.
really bothers
It's
him.
great.
I know.
And actually, I should play the very first caller. So John just gets on, talks about his fantasy draft. Give me a second. I got to draft a defense. And then the very first caller really sets the tone, track 2.
Okay, we're getting a caller. Kermit and Friends, how can I help you?
Yeah, it's a two-part question for stuttering fuckface. Why are you such a cheap bastard and stiffed everyone with the bill? And why can't you close the deal with Elisa? I loved when you got rejected to even go hiking with her. Can you please address that? Thank you.
Oh, that's a great call. That's a great call. That really is
Carl,
going to set the tone for him.
Did people know that he was going to be on?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
I
did.
announced
Okay,
it on
okay.
WATP because Gonzo had reached out to me. I think Elisa had put it out there too. That he was going to be a guest. So people were ready with this one.
Yes, they were. It seemed I wanted to be more excited about the spontaneity of it, but that's fine either way. They got the right calls in.
Honestly, I have so many clips. I'm gonna play a lot of these clips on WATP this weekend coming up because there's too much for us to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled like 55 clips because there's so much hilarious antics that goes on during the show. I was so happy with it. But one other thing I want to play for you guys because you'll know what I'm talking about here. Track 14 is this is what I have nightmares about, that my show would possibly sound like this. And this is, remember, Stuttering John, who's been in broadcasting since the early 90s.
Yeah.
This is what's going on.
Okay, please hold. Barry, go ahead.
Hey, John,
Hello,
I have
Barry.
a question
How
for
are
you. Hey, John, how you doing? Long time fan here. I'm
How are
good.
you,
Long
Barry?
time fan here.
How are you?
So I'm great. Long time fan here.
I love it when technology fails. Oh, that's grand.
John's brain was failing too.
How
though.
you doing, Carl? Carl, you there?
There's
Hey, first
something.
bad luck.
Yeah,
Hey,
Carl,
first
good to
bad-
hear from you.
The question was just wonderful too about the why couldn't you close the deal with Elisa? It's like if you look at that screen and you see Elisa and her youthful, fresh face, and then you see John, it's like, what made him think that she was ever going to be his girlfriend?
Didn't you hear the 3 minutes when he name drop all those people and everything amazing that he's ever done?
D. Snyder once told me.
Yeah. I'm an inspiration to stutterers everywhere.
We're all hanging on D. Snyder's one comment about John Melendez from 25 years ago.
I toured with bands. I opened for bands.
I had Elisa on WATP a few months ago and asked her that very question. Like, why did John think he had a chance with you? And her answer is like, ever since she dated Benji, every fat loser thinks that they're going to be able to sleep with her.
I knew that had something to do with it. I just didn't want to take a shot at Benji because Benji would have a much better shot at her. I just can't imagine looking at myself in the mirror, seeing that, and looking at her and thinking, oh, this is just made. This is perfect. You know, I'm only 22 years older than her, and, you know, I'm famous. I've been a writer on The Tonight Show for 10 years. I've been on the two most iconic shows in entertainment.
Inviting her to take a hike with him is a bad move for a first date, in my opinion.
Oh, it's terrible.
He gets very sweaty on these hikes. I've seen video of it.
Oh, is he really a big hiker?
No, I think he's out of shape is what Carl's saying.
Of course he is. No, that would be a very sweaty date.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, what are you going to do after you go hiking? You need a shower.
Yeah,
that's the point.
And no.
You got to shower with me because there's only one shower.
It'd take him a long time to close that deal. Oh, my God. Who'd have thunk there'd be such a gold mine there? My God.
One more time, giving Elisa props. She explains to John, after he's been saying, I'm not bitter. People are calling up, you're bitter. I'm not bitter. She then explains to John that he is bitter. Track 15.
Some people
and John denies it again.
Oh, sorry.
$100 at a clip on my
no. I know that you get money, but I'm just saying to people, they don't realize what you have to deal with consistently from people. I mean, people are holding guns up to John. I mean, people are driving him nuts. He's gone crazy. He's bitter. He's angry, right, John? And he's not mentally well. None of us are.
Who is not mentally well?
All of us that are doing this.
I wouldn't say I'm not mentally well. I think I'm fine. I don't know what you. I don't get it. I'm not bitter either.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay.
Why is it so cute coming out of her mouth?
I know. It was really well done.
Oh,
that's
you have to call Elisa and give her some personal props. That was really good.
Yeah, she did well.
Definitely do
and
that.
she's really one of the
like
few people that had a shot to do that, because most of us, it would just never happen.
What do you mean?
He would never go on with Carl.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know us.
But I thought it was a religious show.
Yeah, the Church of
I haven't
Kermit.
watched it yet, but on the show that he did today, he recaps that experience.
Oh,
wonderful.
So I can't wait to see what that looks like.
I wonder if he acts like I was bamboozled on the show.
Yeah.
Thought it was a religious show.
We used to have a history together.
But you know what? I'm not bitter about it.
We almost dated back in the day.
She wanted me. It didn't quite work out for her, but, you know. Oh, man. All right, Carl. And then I make people feel comfortable. That's pretty cool. She looked really good on that, too.
Yeah. I didn't know what she looked like. I've been listening to your show. I was trying to picture everybody. This is actually the first time I'm seeing you. So you watched part of that video. It's only like a minute video. Did you turn it off midway?
No. I watched it with great interest.
Okay, good.
I've never been introduced with a bio like that before. That was really intense.
So, Drew, the way I know you, I actually met you through Andy Dick.
Yeah.
Can you just tell everybody a little bit about how you met him? I don't even know how that happened.
We had an interview with Andy Dick a long time ago, and then I think we stumbled into his home phone number. We started calling him maybe once a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe once a month. And he was always stellar, and he would spill and drop names. And I mean, I've determined he's like the Kevin Bacon game. He has worked with everyone. It's incredible. And he was telling stories that he shouldn't have told, in my opinion, but they were great for us. And then we lost him. He just completely left the planet. I mean, you know how that works.
When did that happen? When did you lose him? Because you have him back now, right?
We lost him in 2015, I would say, and we found him again in 2018.
Okay.
And then we started calling. We never set it up. It is always completely random, and that's why there's been some really roller coastery moments that Andy has shared on our podcast. But he's honestly, I think he's the best guest, best semi-regular guest that we've ever had. He's that good.
Yeah, but you haven't had Stuttering John yet. That's the thing, though.
I know, and I love the way you discussed that, because it seems to me that your life peaked.
Yes.
Your life just peaked, which is great.
Yeah. No, it's not going to get any better than this, Drew. I got so much praise from your show and from Who Are These Podcasts. I mean, they went over the whole thing. They played 55 clips. The guy, Karl, spent 5 hours editing the clips. And that just makes me just absolutely thrilled. And I can't imagine what I could do now that would make more entertainment for people, make people happier.
No, this last week was all about you. And I know how that feels. My life peaked in Little League, so
that's amazing. I can't believe that you brought in an engineer for this.
Absolutely, because
I was so flattered.
Which this is you don't know how huge this is for me to make this appearance during the Lions game. It's huge.
I'm so thrilled. I was shocked. Well, first of all, I was really surprised at how much you loved the Stuttering John interview that I did.
Oh, I did. I thought it was stellar. It was surgical.
Yeah, and so after that interview, you texted me more than anyone's texted me. You texted me more than like Andy's texted me or Benji's texted me or any human being has texted me. So I was like, wow, this guy really loved that interview.
Well, I wanted you to hear his show, because he was, this is so funny. Karl, Who Are These Podcasts? People must listen to Who Are These Podcasts if you want to hear more about this, because Karl has a new show. And what I was really getting a great laugh out of were a few things. One, that someone has his phone number, and so as soon as John is live, someone calls that, and he has the ringer on. Which why would he have? Is there some reason he would have the ringer on? And then he says, "I'm going to answer this because this costs them more money when I answer the call." And so he answers it, and he acts as if the people cannot hang up the phone. So, yeah. Oh my God, I'm paying 19 cents a minute. This is going to kill me. And so then just as he's explained that, the phone rings again, which is like, well, wait, if they can't hang up, how did it ring again? And it rang and rang. So I was sending you all the times that it rang so it was just really funny. And then personally, the highlight for me was when John said that sabotaging a guest, which is basically how he made his name, right?
Yes.
Asking stupid questions to people. Sabotaging guests is the worst thing you can do, and that is why you have 3 viewers. And then he paused for a second and he said, "Claudia Garcia, thanks for the $3."
Yeah, I was so sad when you sent me the video of John saying how much he hated this show, because it was my most fun interview ever. I actually have a clip of this, of John complaining about being on Kermit and Friends. This is very sad, you guys.
Oh, boy. I don't address it, but now it's just getting kind of fun. I did the biggest troll of all show the other day. Oh my God. It was too much fun. She books me, right? But then she has guests that she knows are going to trash me to come on. Now, I had to say to this, I had to say to this lunatic, how do you expect to ever get a guest on if you're going to have somebody on and then sabotage them? How do you expect to ever build your audience if all you're going to do is sabotage? Heck, I'm the biggest name this chick has ever had on her show. How does she expect to get anybody bigger if her whole goal is to sabotage them? Now, I didn't really care. I enjoyed it, actually. I enjoyed demeaning these trolls to their faces, calling out their criminal history, their criminal backgrounds and records, and their inebriated shows that they do, and their obsessions with me, and their spread of misinformation about me, which continues on a daily basis. And it doesn't really, I swear to you, it doesn't bother me. I enjoyed the time doing this troll show. But it's just a horrible business. It's a horrible business plan to beg a guest to come on, and then when they come on, you trash, and then she just sabotages me with other guests that she knows are going to sabotage me. So in essence, she's trying to get clicks for herself. And then, but she's going to get maybe that click for that one show. But who else is going to want to do it? If you can't trust the person, then after she does this, she has the audacity to text me and ask me to come back. No, I did my charity for the week. Okay, I'm not coming back. Okay, anytime. I did my charity like I promised. Matt, I'll pass.
Isn't that so sad? The weird thing is, Drew, is I didn't even prepare for that interview at all. I didn't write down one question. Usually I do. But for him, I was just, I'm just so thrilled with who he is as a person. And he can teach us so many lessons.
Yes.
That's how, I mean, the way he looks at life and just looks at his situation. I mean, I could see it so clearly, like from my point of view. I just think he should be laughing at all this. This is funny. This is hilarious. The whole thing is so funny, but he does not have a sense of humor, which is weird for a comedian.
No, he doesn't. He told the one joke. I don't know if you'll ever replay it on your show. It was possibly the worst joke I've ever heard. I wasn't even sure it was a joke. I mean, we've analyzed it quite a bit on our show.
The Uber pickup?
Analyzed, yeah. I wish we had the audio handy. But it was, he said, yeah, I was in Reno and I got picked by an Uber. The only time an Uber's ever been a pickup truck. and Elisa was sitting there like, what's that? Did a joke just happen? I mean, you were really, but he gave it great joke support himself.
Yes. No, he laughs at his own joke, his single joke that he had. And he was just, I just like love this guy. And I'm sad. Last night I was getting sad because I was putting together his best clips from the show. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, I was trying to look at it objectively and think, okay, are all these clips like mean? Are they all making John look bad or are they funny? It's like weird. I can't tell anymore.
Did you leave his Venmo code somewhere? Is there something going on there?
I felt bad. I did. I felt bad. And I thought, okay, is he right? Is this guy right? Is John right? Did I go after him or was I just progressing with the interview? I just wanted to get the most information out of him. And I feel like we did get a lot of information.
Oh, you got a ton. I mean, he really showed himself. He showed every aspect of his personality, every unflattering aspect. And I'm not sure if he showed anything else. But one thing I thought was interesting was that he went on your show because you begged him.
I did. I begged. I did for a long time, and I went to dinner with him, which I thought was weird. He would not go on my show unless I went to dinner with him, and I thought that put me in a bad. Like I looked at him a little negatively after that.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, because I thought, okay, if I was a guy, I don't think he would say that.
Did he think that was a date, and then you showed up with a bunch of people? Because that's kind of how I took it.
Yeah, so he asked me on a hiking date, which sounded terrible to me. A hiking date with anyone. I mean, a hiking date with like Brad Pitt would be, I mean, just anybody, even the best looking guy, even the coolest guy. Hiking is just too long. It's sweaty, it's gross, especially with like a sweaty person. Yeah, he is sweaty anyway. Yeah. So I can't imagine like hiking with a sweaty person like that. It just sounds horrible. So the hiking, I had to say no. But then I thought, John, I have a feeling if he came on Kermit and Friends, he'd be really great. It might be worth it to do something with him.
Great call.
Yeah. So I texted him. I said, John, please come on Kermit and Friends. I'd love to have you on. He says, only if we do dinner, only if we do dinner. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I got this guy Kleenex in town, this fan in town named Kleenex, and he wanted to meet with me. So it was 2 meetings I was avoiding, okay? It was 2 meetings that I was scared of and avoiding. So I decided to combine them. And I thought that was a great idea.
Oh, I bet that. I cannot imagine the look on his face when he realized that someone else was coming to dinner.
Yeah, he wasn't happy, right, Kleenex?
He was not happy. I was there when he came in, and the first thing he did is he says, "Oh, she's done this to me before. I think it's just going to be us." And she brings all these guys, and I'm like, well, she said at dinner. She didn't say alone. I don't think she ever said alone. Did you ever say alone?
No, the word alone was never in there. It was just dinner. So technically, there was dinner.
But all I can say about him is Elisa was very charming. It was fantastic to meet her. But he was exactly what I expected because I've watched him for so many years and his new podcast. And the thing that cracked me up was he always has to defend that he's not bitter. But didn't he come off bitter to you?
Oh,
I mean, on the show, I think he even came up. But I agree. I agree with you, Drew. I think it's her best show. I was thinking she really prepared for it. I'm amazed to hear that she now says she had notes. I think it's her best interview so far. And I thought the guy trolling him, the guy with the microphone in his face, I thought that was hilarious. I can't understand why John didn't see the humor in that.
But
He should
John
be
had
flattered.
criminal records of all the people that she surprised him with.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew about those people. So he's got to be deep in YouTube, deep in, the Reddit. He says he doesn't read Reddit. There is 0% chance that is true.
Oh, no, his intel was allegedly off the charts because he didn't know this was going to happen, yet he was ready for it when it did with the criminal histories of all the people that checked in. That's pretty amazing. You got to give him credit for that. And then I'm wondering about the Pickwick Pub, because he says he's at the Pickwick Pub at 3:00 every day. And then he says, you got a problem with me? You come to the Pickwick Pub and I can handle myself. So do they have a boxing ring there? I mean, is the Pickwick Pub okay with him taking all people that he wants to threaten or are threatening him at the Pickwick Pub? That doesn't seem like a good business move.
I was planning on going to the Pickwick Pub. And I'm a little scared to do it, but I think I should film it. I could bring Sigmund with me because he's local. Sigmund, are you willing to go to the Pickwick Club with me or pub and spy on John and get the mileage on his car? Because that's a question a lot of people have.
Yes.
Yeah. So the information we need to get from the Pickwick Pub today is the mileage in the car. We need to interview the bartenders.
Okay.
The wait staff. Do you have a pen, Sigmund? Can you write this down?
I'd like to know how used the car is, too, because he described it as a new car. I heard him say that. He said, my kids love my new car. And we know it's a used Mercedes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I felt he was misrepresenting the vehicle to his children.
Well, the vehicle is from 2013. I got that information. Okay. So I don't know how many miles are on it, but that's something we'll find out today. We'll ask what he's drinking, how many drinks he has, how many people have threatened to kill him on a daily basis there, if he's really there every day at 3. What else should we find out, Drew?
If the car has any Bondo on it or if there's any major dents or just sort of how used it is, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of miles on that car. Be nice to find out if he gets there at 3:03, 2:57, 3:09, because sounds like, that is his day. If there's one thing he has scheduled, it's Pickwick Pub, 3:00. Kick anyone's ass who has a problem with me.
Haz lo correcto y sé positivo.